All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday, July 21st, 2020 Board of Selectmen's meeting. I'm going to waive the reading of the agenda. It's already listed. We'll go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Ed, do you want to lead us today?
Certainly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Anyone here or anything for citizens input? Under citizens input, oh, I apologize, sorry. And you're right in front of me too. Come on up. Introduce yourself and where you live. And
I am Dave Coffey, and I'm at 8 Washington Street, Foxboro. This is to our town servants with tough love. Truly, truly, I say toward you, the servant is not greater than his Lord, neither he who is sent greater than he who sent him. For to whom much is given, of him much will be absolutely required. And to whom people have committed much, of him they shall absolutely ask the more. Something happened at our town meeting that greatly saddened me and several other citizens of Foxboro. Those whom we have chosen to lead us showed a side of themselves we can well do without. One interested citizen brought up the idea that the town should reduce the budget in some offices and agencies of our town government by 10%. This was a common sense idea that I seconded enthusiastically. Why did I second the motion to reduce the town budget in certain areas by 10%? Was I in favor of taking anything away from our children that was necessary to help them learn? No, 1,000 times no. Immediately, as always happens with people who really do not care about others, but care more about their own agendas, the excuse not to accept the motion was turned into an attack against our behalf on our children, especially those with learning disabilities who need special help. This action shows the utter selfishness of those whom we have chosen to lead us. Understanding the heart of the motion, I affirmed the motion with all of my heart and voice. Why? The principle is this: a town servant is not greater than his Lord, we the citizens of Foxboro. All we are asking is that our servants take upon themselves some of the pain and the financial burden that has been experienced by their Lord, the citizens of Foxboro. We were not suggesting that services be cut. This would be wrong. However, if our servants, including our teachers, have the hearts of servants, they will readily agree, for the servant is not greater than his Lord, we the citizens of Foxboro. Instead, our servants attack the idea, using our children as a baseball bat against us. We do not need to cut services to cut the budget. However, The town servants that we have chosen need to help the citizens absorb some of the pain and the burden that COVID-19 has forced upon us. To sacrifice 10% of one's salary would not be too great a sacrifice to make to save the town critical expenses. In fact, I would suggest that if one of our town servants were to suggest that cutting expenses would lead to a loss of vital services, that official should be immediately recalled. For this kind of heart and attitude is not the heart of a true servant. Whom do you think allowed you to have a little bit of power? Do you think that the citizens themselves expect you to treat them differently than you treat yourselves? This is neither leadership nor is it good government. It is selfish and self-serving. Using an emotional argument was not the right thing to do. Instead of staying in the bounds of common sense, you chose to talk down to the citizens of Foxborough. And I say you all because no one spoke against what that individual said. None among you understood the heart of the motion, and as a sad result, placed yourselves above the good of the people. Who would not see the need that our children be well educated, even those who are slower learners than others? Who would be so heartless as to suggest that our children do not need to be well educated? None of you understood the heart of the motion. Who would be so heartless as to suggest that services should be cut and that it be chosen as the first place to cut? This is selfishness to the nth degree, and this attitude is not warranted from those who would desire to lead us. This act of unwillingness to accept some of the pain and burden that you too willingly thrust upon us shows that you do not know how to lead or to serve. The 10% cut would not come from reduced services that are essential to our most vulnerable. The 10% would come instead from our servants' salaries, as they demonstrate true leadership and compassion. I implore our town manager and each one of you to show the citizens of Foxborough the heart of true leadership. What you did during the town meeting was tyrannical and divisive, whether you were elected or appointed to office. Toward whom much is given, much is absolutely required. We love our town, but fear stopped us during the town meeting. I call on the most noble and higher self in each one of you who truly desires to serve us and our children, to do the right thing, to make the right choice, to choose liberty, and give 10% of your salaries back to the town. I am faithfully David Henry Coffey, a beloved leader in spirit and in matter, truths and realities of the victorious ones. May we together rise to overcome our problems as a town and not as a government separate from its town. Always victory.
First of all, I'd like to thank you for coming forward and making that statement. Unfortunately, during citizens' input, there's not a lot of feedback you can get from us, since it wasn't a posted agenda item. But
The only feedback I want, sir, is that you take upon yourselves to give back to the town so that we don't have to raise our taxes and so that you can share some of the burden with the town.
Is there a way that me, you, and Bill can meet sometime and go over a lot of what you said?
Yes.
I would like to do that. Sure. Pick a morning and meet up in Bill's office. Keep that statement you had with you, and let's go over it.
Okay.
All right? We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
David.
Thank you. Also, under citizens' input, I got a notice from the Clean Up Foxborough Committee. Due to the uncertainty of what Phase 4 may or may not be going forward, the co-chairs of that committee, Tina Belanger and AJ Dooley, had to make that tough decision a little bit ago, and they're going to be canceling the September reschedule of Clean Up Foxborough. So there will unfortunately be no event for the 2020 year, and the committee sadly had to make that tough decision a little bit ago. We'll certainly keep you, and they'll keep me informed going forward on 2021. Okay. Bill, COVID-19 update and any other updates you have for us?
Well, we certainly have a few.
Yes,
So
we do.
I wanted to just say on a good note, though, that there is our numbers continue to remain low here in Foxborough. We currently have only 8 active cases as of today, and as of right now, there are no hospitalizations. So that's great news to report. We have a total of 125 cases that have occurred here since March 15th. A total have recovered of 103, and 1,589 people have tested negative since the beginning of COVID-19 here in Foxborough. There are a total of 26 people who've tested positive for the antibodies, so those people are potentially available for providing additional help to those who need it the most, and so we'll continue to track that information on a regular basis. On a statewide basis, Massachusetts continues to do well. There are, I think we're one of only about 12 states, or actually 10 states in the country right now that are not showing a significant growth in the cases. Though the bad news is that 40 states are, and that we continue to watch that. And I just noticed some information coming out that the cases to continue to grow in places like Florida and Texas and California, particularly Arizona as well, but particularly Florida and Texas are concerning because those are the states that have seen the largest growth in the last several weeks. So we'll continue to do what we can to maintain the safe environment that we have here, continue to practice the appropriate steps accordingly. And so far, we've done very, very well, and I'm pleased to see that the practices continue. I was away in another Northeast state this past week, and they were continuing to practice those practices as well, those good practices as well, and showed a lot of respect for that. So I was pleased to see that, and everybody socially distanced appropriately. So I was glad to see that. So we are in a pretty good position in that regard. On a more unfortunate scenario, I wanted to just report that an important staff member of this town has been injured over the past. Not related to COVID-19. Mike Johns was injured fairly seriously over the weekend while doing some repair work on his home. He fell from the roof of his house and broke both his wrists, really significantly, to the point where he was required to have a 5-hour-long surgery yesterday to repair both injuries. Please report the surgeries went well, and Mike is on the mend, but he's going to be out for quite a while. I don't know the extent of that period at this point in time, but his wife reported to me late this afternoon that he was hopefully going to be either home this week, either today or tomorrow, and I'll know more when I hear from him. But knowing Mike the way I do, Mike will try and get back sooner rather than later. It was interesting to hear that he actually called me on Monday morning after he was in the hospital all night before his surgery to update me on a few things. So it just goes to show you the kind of person he is and where his thoughts lie in terms of what's going on here in Foxborough. But we certainly want to send along our best wishes to Mike and for a speedy recovery. And I'm hoping that we'll see him sooner rather than later as well. But certainly we'll do whatever we can to continue to operate as efficiently as we can in his absence. We've come up with a plan to meter out his work as much as we can during this period of time, and we'll do the best we can to get through things. So, but certainly our thoughts and concerns are mostly with Mike at this time, and we want to just mostly send along our best wishes to him. Just on a couple COVID-19 related operational things that Mike would typically report at this time. We found out that the library is actually going to be voting tonight to possibly reopen as early as July 27th. So they're moving along as quickly as they can to try and get reopened. The Council on Aging is also looking to try and reopen. They're going to be erecting a tent in their parking lot, and we'll be doing some outdoor activities for the foreseeable future until they can safely go back inside as well. But they are going to make appointments, allow for appointments to be done through their offices. So if people are interested in doing some activities, they can contact them and they'll make arrangements for them. Just let me see, there was just a email I just received this afternoon from Mark. Wanted to just update you on that. He said the senior center started limited programs in early July, with additional programs resuming each week starting this coming Monday. Most programs will occur under a 20 by 60 foot tent, which will go up next week. Program participants will be required to pre-register for all activities, wear a mask, and stay 6 feet apart. So it's important to note that that's probably one of the first COAs that I've seen open throughout the entire Commonwealth. So I give probably credit to Mark and his team for trying to get folks back to programs as early as possible, but certainly in a safe and appropriate environment as he's trying to do that. So I want to give him a lot of credit for that. And other than that, our reopening efforts have gone well. We have managed to keep folks manned at the desk, so we could always use volunteers for that. And we're trying to do that so that we can keep people checking in at the front door as people come in for their various efforts to try and get things done. I will say though that people are respecting our requests as they come into the building, and we appreciate everybody's cooperation in doing that. So far so good. We're going to continue to march along in the right direction and hopefully get back up to 100%, or the new normal as we speak, as to what that's going to look like over the next several weeks and months. So that's the latest information I have on COVID-19 at this point. Okay.
And don't go very far, because you're up next again.
For the
Introduction of our new building.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Sorry I didn't forget you, Mark, back there. So I'm pleased to report that we have a new building commissioner in amongst us tonight. He is Mark Duppel, and Mark has just joined us as of last Monday. I'm sorry I missed your first day.
It's all right.
I was away on vacation, but Mike did a great job of welcoming you into the organization. So thank you for being here. Mark has a pretty extensive background as a building commissioner. He is a certified building commissioner. We didn't want to take anybody but that, so Mark has actually fulfilled that obligation. It was not easy to find him. This is one of those jobs that there aren't a lot of folks that have those credentials these days, and so we searched long and hard, and we found a good guy for our organization, so we're really happy to have Mark with us. Mark's most recent work was up in Reading, Mass., where he was the building commissioner and zoning enforcement officer from 2018 until now. Prior to that, he worked for nearly 8 years in the town of Chelmsford in the same role, and so I'll certainly let Mark say a few words, but we're certainly happy to have him here. And I know the guy who's happiest to hear about his being here is Bill Caspara, who served in the role for many years. prior to Mark, and he's actually retired twice from us. He's been here so long, so I'm actually, but Bill is actually was pleased to see Mark here as well. So, Mark, I'll turn it over to you for a few words.
How could I top that? So, yeah, I mean, I got out of the Marine Corps in 1982 and went into the trades and, worked as a laborer and a carpenter, and then worked in Boston supervising building construction, and then like in 99 decided to become a building inspector. So for the past 21 years, I've been doing this. I've been in a couple different towns, so I'm well versed in different types of zoning, different towns' ideas of zoning, and I enjoy doing it. And I thank Bill and Mr. Johns for bringing me in, and for you guys for having me.
Now adding, being in charge of the stadium or inspecting the stadium. One more thing to tick off on your.
That looked good on the resume, but I don't think I'm going anywhere else after this. I'm starting to get up there too, so.
Good, because I don't know if we could get Bill back a third time.
No, I don't. I think he's on his way to the middle part of the country right now to get as far away as he can, so we don't call him back. So.
Certainly welcome to Foxborough, welcome to Town Hall. Anybody have any thoughts or questions?
Just welcome.
Well, thank you very much.
And we do have a fifth board member. He's
He's actually on the screen. So.
on the screen. Hey, Chris, forgot to mention that you are here.
Welcome to Foxborough, Mark.
All right, thank you.
He's got a son that actually graduated from West Point, so he's another military vet. So that's amongst us. So another glad to have another military vet amongst us. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Welcome.
thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye now.
Enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks, Mark.
All right, Lorraine, Economic Development Committee.
Good evening. Nobody recognizes me with my mask on. So,
I actually walked right by her in the hallway and I didn't recognize her, so I apologize for that.
so I'm here tonight to bring forward 3 candidates for the board to consider approving for the Economic Development Committee. Just to give you a little bit of background, the committee was originally formed in 2000, went dormant for a number of years, and then was reinstated in the fall of 2015. We were reinstated with 9 members at that time. And then in the spring, we had recognized that we didn't have representation from Invencis. So we came before the board and got approval to add a 10th member at that time. So about 2 years later, we had a resignation from the board, from the committee, and at that time we stayed at 9 because it's just easier for quorum purposes to have an odd number. And so this year, fast forward, we had 2 resignations. Mark Rebin Sr. and Steve Coote resigned. I want to thank them for their service over the years. And so as the notice went out that we were looking for candidates, we were fortunate to get 3 very good candidates. So we had our meeting last week with the committee and interviewed all 3 candidates. And, excuse me, the candidates are John Gray, Heather Harding, and Catherine Rollins. And each of them brings a very different skill set. So after all the members got to ask each of the candidates their questions, we had a discussion, and the voting members talked through who they were going to recommend. So John Gray had the most votes to be recommended, but then we had a situation where we were tied with Catherine and Heather. So John brings his experience as an entrepreneur to the committee, which we think is a great addition. And Heather has done a tremendous amount of work with promoting the businesses in the center of town. She has created a website that's a great communication tool for all of the businesses out there. So she's really done a lot to support the community in that respect. And then Catherine Rollins comes with experience both at a state and local level for revitalization. She's been involved in, and also has experience with land use projects. So she's been involved in revitalizing a mill in one of the towns on the south coast, and also was heavily involved in, I believe, oversight of the Encore project in Everett. So, given, as we were starting to discuss what to do next, Leah had a great idea. Can we consider all three, bringing forward all three candidates? And at the time, I wasn't sure. We knew we had 10, but I went back and just confirmed that we had gotten all the right approvals to do that. So we're here tonight to ask you for approval of all three candidates, and look forward to having them on the committee if you approve them. And they're here, I believe two of them are here tonight, if you have any questions for them personally.
If they're both here, guys, well, we know Heather's here, but come on up front for
Catherine, too. Catherine's here.
yeah. Well, that's the one face I didn't recognize, so. And John did not make it today?
No, I thought he was going to make it, but he's not here.
Hi.
Hi.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'd like to mention to everyone out there the work that Lorraine did, going through the archives and making sure that 10 was the right number was really pretty phenomenal. And then reading some of those minutes,
Yeah.
thinking back and seeing the names back in
Oh, yeah.
2020, and Mike Capola, and was very,
In 2000, yeah.
Very cool to read those names again. And thank you guys for volunteering to fill that void. Very important committee. So anybody have any questions? Leah, you were part of the process at one point, I assume.
Yeah, so I was there, for meeting all three of them, and, I don't think we should really ever be turning away volunteers if we have really qualified candidates, that wanna help. Between John and Heather, decades of experience. But, Catherine, I love to see a new face. It's a lot of the same usual suspects we see at a lot of meetings. So, I'm excited about Catherine joining us as well. And hopefully this is a long tenure of community involvement, not only in the communities you work in, but the community that you live in as well. So everyone brings, different pieces to the table. I wasn't aware of all the stuff that happened kind of after the fact with looking at meeting minutes and everything. But when I looked at everything going into this meeting, I really couldn't find any bylaws, composition. So, that was one of the first things that I hope we can do as a group, is maybe formalize the group a little bit more, since, it has kind of come and gone and revitalized again. But hopefully that's a project that we can work on. And I think we have some new energized members, and we'll be able to get off to a good start.
There actually is a mission statement for the group, but that's all they have as we can find. I don't think there's actually a sort of a bylaw or
I don't know if there was,
a policy or anything like that we can find.
There was an original charter for the 2000 committee. I don't know, I had found out that there were folders for committees that had been set up in the office, but I don't know the status of those folders now, so.
I couldn't come across
If there was a
them.
charter,
Yeah.
I'm assuming it would be with that.
We did look through, there was quite a bit of information back from 2015 or so. that we
But
did
nothing from
but
2000.
There could be some from, I didn't look back that far, but we'll take a look for that too.
Yeah, I understood that there were folders for all the older committees
I see.
that would have that information, so.
Do we know when the
I'm
mission
not-
statement is that from the original creation in 2000, or
No.
is that
2015.
2015? Okay.
It's actually something I think I drafted, and I
Okay.
gave it to the committee
Yeah.
to try and
I was just
work
going to
on.
ask,
Yeah.
is that something we need to dust off too? But it sounds
It
like
probably needs to be,
Yeah,
looked at
it's
again,
probably-
because it's
I
been
think
it's
we
been a
should
while.
look at it.
It's
Yeah.
probably a good time to look at it again.
so.
Any other questions from the board?
Not so much a question. Certainly, I think everybody in the community knows the work that Heather Harding has put in for our community, as well as John Gray, as his role as a select person. And I was thrilled to see somebody from the outside, so to speak, that had a wide range of experience of doing something perhaps different in a community like Everett, as opposed to a community that's perhaps a little bit different than Everett, and looking forward to the input she can provide for Foxborough.
Absolutely. And to piggyback a little bit on what Ed just said, so, of course, I know Heather is a workhorse and Heather gets things done. But so I made sure to watch the meeting so I could see the conversation. I know John a little bit. I don't know him very well. Obviously, I know him from sitting on this board and, what his professional career is, but knew nothing about Catherine at all. So as I watched the meeting, even myself, I was like, oh, this is gonna be tough, you know, and I was really, really pleased to see that, piggybacking on what Leah said about, you know, turning away people who want to be part of a committee and help. So I'm glad. You know, I think you guys are gonna have a great committee.
Yeah.
So I was really glad to see how you guys worked that all out.
And there is a website too, which I didn't know about. So just to promote that, the www.choosefoxborough.com has a lot of good information out there, and it looks like Paige has been updating it. So just a little nugget I didn't know about, that if, you know, you're sitting bored and you want to check it out, there's some good info there, and
It's a
hopefully
good-
more to come.
Yeah, it's a good page.
How long have you lived in town?
So I've lived here about 4.5 years now.
Okay, great.
And if you married someone that grew up in town as well, right?
Yeah, I
think
married a lifelong resident.
yeah.
So, yes, deep connection there.
That happens to a lot of us.
Yeah.
Now just consider yourself a town.
Catherine, I think we probably met through your MMA days.
Yes.
And you work for John Robinson? Or is
I
that-
did,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
he's fantastic.
Okay, he's a great guy, yeah.
All right, I would like to have seen John here. I'm surprised he, hopefully he's maybe running late, maybe swing by a little later. But any other questions?
Hey, Doc, can I throw in it?
Yeah, go ahead,
Deal.
Chris. A little louder, though.
Little,
Okay, sorry about that. No, I looked through all the resumes, 3 great candidates. Just a clarification, so with these 3 appointments, this brings the board to a total of 10, correct?
right.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, you, everybody.
All right.
Okay.
Want to make the motion? See,
Me?
so you're on the.
Sure. All right, move to approve J. Catherine Rollins, or Rollins, which is it, Rollins or Rollins? Rollins, okay, John Gray and Heather Harding to the Economic Development Committee with their terms expiring May 1st, 2023.
Second.
Good. Thanks, Chris. Any further discussion? All those in favor? All right, great. Congratulations.
Welcome,
Thank
guys.
you very much.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lorraine.
All right. Foxborough, although we have it wrong, the Foxborough Downtown Business Collaborative is really,
Foxborough Common Business Collaborative.
How about business?
was brought to my attention earlier today. Thank you, Heather, once again.
We used to be the business collaborative, wasn't it, at one time?
It's the
Common
Business Collaborative.
Common
which is
business,
not-
okay, so that's the, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yes,
Downtown
exactly,
is-
yeah.
Downtown
Yeah.
is,
And it's actually a great play on words, because it's a really catchy phrase, actually.
These are little window claims that has
Yeah.
the sign from the Common on it, and then it says Foxborough, well, this way it says it the right way, but Foxborough Common Business Collaborative.
Just for the heck of it, introduce yourself and who you
of
represent,
course.
and I know you live in town too.
Yes. Hi, I'm Cindy Haddad Drew, and I am representing the Foxborough Common Business Collaborative. And so I'm here today because we are forming an initiative to get banners on the poles that are surrounding the Common and going up Central Street, and there's a couple on South Street as well. And hopefully in the future, a couple of potential poles on Main Street, Mechanic Street, and Cocasset Street, potentially. Anyway, so we've been working on a design that would be pleasing to everybody, and I think we've come up with something relatively nice. And the purpose of doing this is to have something so that when people are driving through the town, they're seeing that we are cohesive, that it's part of the wayfinding signs as well. So everything is kind of going to go together, something that we've been working on for a few years now, probably since 2015. And so I believe we've come up with a pretty good design. Might need a little tweaking. I was not able to print it in time, but I do have, and I can pass my phone around and this as well.
we have it in board docs too.
Do you have it as well with, it says, welcome to Foxborough Common?
Was that one on the email?
It was from a previous email.
I don't know
It
that
was
that one's
from
on
a
it.
few weeks ago, so. And it's very pretty,
We have the one with Cindy's.
yes. So you should have two that say with Cindy's, and there's different colors on the bottom. So what we're looking to do is to have, so as you're coming into town, the first signs being welcome to Foxborough Common, welcome to Foxborough Uptown, and, or welcome to, well, just welcome to Foxborough, and then having them sponsored so that it's no outlay of money to the town to do it. So businesses will take the option to do something and possibly with their logo on it, as long as it's approved and, again, pleasing to everybody. So we try to do the Foxborough colors with the true blue and the true yellow that we have in our town. And I believe we have 24 poles. And the poles have been used in the past to have the banners up from Foxborough Founder's Day, so usually from like mid-May to Memorial Day up to Founder's Day, and then also the J.C.'s have their banners that they put up at the holidays. So the rest of the year, the poles are bare, and it would be nice to see the banners welcome to Foxborough or something else that might be cohesive, including some of the other organizations in town, whether it be music, whether it be sports, but starting with, you know, the theme of welcome, and then also showcasing some of the businesses that are part of the Foxborough Common Business Collaborative.
Great. I saw the, also the application form that's in part of board docs also.
Correct.
Anybody have any questions?
Some questions that have come up that I'll just kind of proactively answer in case people are thinking it. Someone had asked who's going to put them up. I informally talked to Chris one day and seemed like we had the go-ahead. They're not going to be something that's like changed out every week or every month.
Right.
We're probably like a 6-month-ish, right? We're thinking.
Well, so if Founder's Day is going to continue to put up the banners, then it would be January through the end of May.
Mhm.
And then again, as soon as the Founder's Day banners come down. And typically, what happens when the banners go up and come down is it's done on a rainy day because it's a day they can't mow the lawns and do things like that. So it would work into their schedule whenever it works into their schedule. So it's not something that we can dictate or suggest at all. It's up to them to decide when they want to do it and when they can do it. And so then through till probably Thanksgiving, again through, again, the end of December, and then they would go back up again. So you have January to May, middle of June to November, essentially.
And, go
How
ahead.
much for the, for a business to sponsor a banner?
$100.
Was that on the app? I just saw the app, I didn't see it
Yes.
so much, okay.
Yeah, and, you know, this is a project that's been underway for a long time. So, you know, thank you to Cindy and the Foxborough Common Business Collaborative, Hawk Marketing. Everyone's really worked together. This has gone in front of Historical, and also it has gone in front of the Wayfinding Group. So, you know, everyone I feel like that needs to weigh in before getting to this point with us approving them, since we need to approve the banners, has done that and has weighed in. The only thing that you may not have heard yet, Cindy, is Christina had a better, kind of crisper picture of the
If
common. I don't want to.
So I understand that. That's why I brought the other photo that has the leaves on it.
Okay.
So there's several photos of Memorial Hall, and some are prettier than others. Some have leaves turning, some have leaves just blooming, some have snow. I think over a period of time, some of those photos might actually change with the seasons too.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know, it's a wayfinding, so it's going to probably stay Memorial Hall because that's part of the wayfinding
Right.
branding that we've decided on. But I think that, you know, we can take that and work with it and see that, you know, maybe a better photo is going to come up even after we've started printing
Right.
them. That's okay. We can go with the flow on
Okay.
that.
Yeah, and we'll just check with Historical if we change anything. But
Well, so the photo that you see in here was provided by
by
Historical.
yeah.
And the photo that we had before did have the leaves in the background, but we'll find something that's
Yeah,
gonna
I think it
work.
was the stairs. We needed to make sure they looked right. Was that it, if I'm remembering right?
The top of the
top,
soldier
okay, yeah,
was
there
cut
was-
off,
yeah,
so
so-
it's just a matter of positioning, and if we have to go out and take a better photo, we can do that.
But regardless, everyone that I feel like needs to weigh in has weighed in. And this has, again, been years of discussion, and, you know, I think everyone's really excited to get these moving, and I think it will really dress up the center of town. I think it looks really nice when the Founder's Day banners are up, or the holiday banners, so it'll be nice to have these at the rest of the time, and support the businesses uptown, you know, that can have their logos on those banners as well.
So one person did ask me how many they could buy. And so my suggestion was one with your logo, and if you'd like to sponsor the other ones that say welcome to Foxborough, then that would be acceptable or pleasing to everybody.
Cindy, right now, how many spots do you have to fill? I know you said eventually you may be adding.
We
a few.
have currently 10 applications, but as soon as people know about it,
Yeah.
they'll
No, but I
be
Oh, in
mean,
terms of actual positions
how many
to.
positions?
24.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chris, you have any questions?
Yeah, just, of the 24, will they all have the picture of Memorial Hall, or I heard you mention the picture of the Common?
No,
Welcome
it's a picture of Memorial Hall.
Okay, so all of them will have that picture.
It's,
Will they
it's,
say, welcome to Foxborough on the top part of these?
It's on the bottom.
no, it's on the bottom. So Memorial Hall will be on the top half, and then welcome to Foxborough or sponsored by, or somebody's logo would be on the bottom half.
Okay, so there is if somebody were to sponsor one, then their logo would go on it as opposed to welcome to Foxborough?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No,
All right, accept the motion.
excuse me.
Okay, motion to approve the proposed banners for the Foxborough, wait a minute, for the
Common.
Foxborough Common Business Collaborative
Collaborative.
for Foxborough Common and surrounding area.
Second.
Any further
Notice I looked right
discussion?
at you, Chris.
All those in favor? Great, great job, great
Thank you very
presentation.
much.
Thank you for
Thank
all
you.
your work. and-
Cindy.
Thanks, Cindy.
Pleasure, thank you.
And if anyone wants to join the Foxborough Common Business Collaborative, we do have people that don't have a business uptown. Love to have you. First Wednesday of the month, meeting virtually right now. So it's so easy. You can call in with your coffee in your pajamas. And you can reach out to Heather Harding, Cindy, if you want an application. There is a Facebook page too for the Foxborough Common Business Collaborative. And I'm sure Heather will also serve it up to Uptown Happenings.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Damn article, not a damn article, but
You've been waiting all night to use that, haven't you?
ever since it first came out. It was like a softball right down the middle, you know? All right, 735 West Street Dam, Article 97. Gentlemen, how are you?
Hello there.
Now that you're up here, you can take that off. All right.
So we're here to present, give an update on the West Street Dam project and also ask for a motion shortly. So we are moving forward with the West Street Dam project. We have received a grant for $708,000 to do that work. We have received the majority of our permits. We actually received our Concom permit last week, approval last week. We are looking at doing that construction summer of '21, so not obviously this year, but next summer. Work on finalizing our permits, getting bid documents pulled together, going out to bid later on this fall so that next spring we can start. We have a water main project that's part of the project as well. So we'll be doing that work in conjunction with the dam replacement. One of the things we were looking at was, because we're doing a little widening of the road, where we're going to add a sidewalk, we have to build out a retaining wall with a guardrail to make the road safe. There was actually going to be a land swap with Conservation Commission because we were widening out that road. There's something called Article 97 where the town has to swap a piece of land to Concom that can be protected to build the roadway out the way we were planning to do that. As we moved through that process and we were finalizing our survey plans, it actually came to light that in 1971, the county, Norfolk County Engineering, actually was petitioned by the town of Foxborough to abandon the existing layout, which is where the road still is, because they were going to straighten it out and get rid of that curve over the dam and by the pond. So in 1971, Norfolk County, who owns the layout, it is technically their layout because it connects several different towns, they laid out a piece of West Street through the woods, through the wetlands that never got built. At the same time, they discontinued the piece of West Street where the roadway actually sits. So they got ahead of themselves. Before we built the road, they discontinued the existing layout. So where the roadway sits now is actually one piece of conservation property. Conservation, the town owns the whole thing, but it's deeded to conservation, which means it has restrictions on it, which means in reality we shouldn't have a roadway there. So we don't have to do an Article 97 land swap, which is a plus, because that involves not only locally, town meeting, but it also goes to the state for their approval. So we get to avoid that. The other side is we need to now petition the county to relay out the existing roadway so that it is an actual layout, a right-of-way. So we're basically going to reverse what was done 49 years ago. This layout from 1971 through the woods will never be used. It'll never be built. It's through the wetlands. We can't touch it. It was a great idea 50 years ago, but if they had built the road 50 years ago, they would have been able to build it. But the way the conservation restriction laws are nowadays, we can't touch it. So what'll happen is this board will vote to petition the county to lay out the existing roadway where the pavement is, where the dam is. At the same time, they will discontinue the 1971 layout through the wetlands and through the woods. That'll never get used. So we're actually doing what we would have done through the Article 97 land swap. It's just a much cleaner process. There's a lot less involved.
So that's the swap. The conservation's getting back
Correct.
the swampy land. Anyway.
Correct. Yep. So, before the motion that was presented was actually prepared by Joe McNichols, who's the Norfolk County engineer.
Oh.
And it is, there in writing, would be for the town manager to petition the county to lay out West Street. He will work with Fireland Corp., who's the surveyor and who's been doing the layout work for this project. They will prepare the plans. The town will, as part of our project, will fund that plan preparation. The county will move it through their process. The county board will vote to lay out as the plan and discontinue that existing piece that's through the woods.
And bureaucracy-wise, they'll have it done fast enough for you guys
Yeah.
to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
You can still put out the bids, or do you need this done first before you?
So if you guys were to vote a motion tonight, that'll go to Joe McNichols with the county. He can have a board meeting within 30 days.
Okay.
So he should have something by Labor Day done, which will work for our time frame of putting this out to bid in the fall.
Any questions from the board?
This has no impact on the neighbors, because if I'm looking at it, it's almost like through people's front yards rather than the woods. Like, is there any implication there?
So there are two abutters. So what now formerly was Lori Abbott,
Okay,
which is to the southwest east.
yeah.
And then what was Brian Ellie, who's no longer there, but to the west side of the pond. There is some impact to their property, although their property is roadway right now.
Okay.
So it's negligible.
Okay.
We will check in with town council to make sure if we have to go through an appraisal process, typically if you do a taking, or a return, you return it or take it by fee.
Okay.
You do an appraisal on that property, but there's really no value to it because
Right.
currently a roadway,
Right.
and has been forever.
And obviously, they're aware this is going,
Yeah.
they're aware this is
Yep.
going on.
Now, they'll let you get grass back in return, right? In that
Well,
case? Would that happen?
they'll actually, their property line will go back to where it was 50 years ago.
Okay.
Okay,
The road will stay, the pavement will stay exactly where it is
Okay.
now.
all right.
So they're not gonna
So there's
lose
no
any
impact
grass,
that
they're not gonna lose anything out
So there's
front.
no impact, really,
Yeah,
no
no
impact, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know the other house, but I know Laurie, and I knew her in-laws whose home that was, and they're set so far back.
Right.
It's not like they're that close to the street where,
Right.
I couldn't even imagine her really having any problem with it, but,
Yeah.
yeah. Good.
Chris, do you have any questions?
Just, I walked this property, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago with Chris and Roger. It's all surface, so, thanks for all the hard work on this, and this looks like it should be a pretty easy fix, so I'm all good.
Okay. Any other questions? All right.
Okay. Motion to authorize the town manager to petition the Norfolk County Commissioners to lay out West Street in Foxborough as a county highway between the easterly end and the Norfolk County of the June 26, 1973 layout of West Street and the northerly sideline of the November 23, 1971 layout of West Street at approximately center line, Station 48 and 50.
Second.
Chris, did you second?
Yep.
Oh, he did?
I did.
Yeah,
Okay.
he did.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Great. Great presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
How'd the baseball team do?
It was hot out there.
So we'll let you
All
go
right.
before, so.
Unfortunately, we have to skip Assistant Town Manager's
Right.
report.
Yeah, but
So we'll go right to Town Managers.
we're gonna keep it on there just for good measure,
Absolutely.
though, just, we're not gonna take it away from Mike, so. I'll see if I can get one, a verbal one from him periodically. I don't have much to report to you at this point because I literally got back yesterday, so, and I was off for a week, but I will tell you that I sent you a copy of the procedure, town meeting preparation procedure, which I've been working on, and got a lot of input into, so I want you to take a look at that. That's an internal office procedure that we're working on, so that we'll have for everybody to use going forward, so we can hopefully make sure that that's consistently applied. And then I'm also working on, and that's also consistent with one of the goals that we set as well. So I also have begun work on a town manager truck binder, which was part of the transitional process that we're looking forward into the next few years, and taking the actual language of the town manager act, and then breaking that down, explaining the various sections of it, is how it's applied and how it's been practiced. So anybody who sits into that in that chair will know how it's been practiced here in Foxborough. So I think that will be very helpful in going forward from that position. There are a number of things that we're working on. I'm meeting with the staff tomorrow morning. There are a couple things in conservation area that we got to take a look at. There is a video or a Zoom meeting that's going to be held on with the USGS, I believe it is, or FEMA rather, relative to the floodplain maps. That is going to be held on 28th, and I'll be attending that, participating in that discussion. And then also there's further. We also had. I'm just for everybody's edification. We received a request from the Coalition of Indian Americans in Massachusetts, who are asking that they celebrate a raising of their flag either on the Common or at the Town Hall, and it could be either done on August 14th or 15th. And we were not really 100% sure that we could do that with the town flagpole, so we shied away from that. But certainly they can bring their own flagpole and raise the flag here in the parking lot if we wanted to at Town Hall. So I think we're going to look at that as an option. I also have asked them to provide me with a safe distancing plan because I'm not sure how many people are actually going to attend this event. But they're doing it around the state at this point because they would normally do it in Boston, But given the COVID-19 restrictions, they're not able to do that this year. So we're asking to do it in the various towns. So far, about 10 communities have said yes to it. We haven't said no, we just need more information. So they're looking to try and do that before the 10th. I'm not sure the board needs to act on this, because we'll do it here at Town Hall. It would be something we would do on a Friday afternoon or Saturday morning. Okay.
That plan that you sent to us, I honestly haven't had a chance to look through it all yet, but has that gone, who else has that been shared with? Because, we don't know the nitty-gritty of kind of
Yeah.
who makes the sausage, so who else has that gone
So
to?
is this the town
The
meeting?
town meeting one,
So
yeah.
we reviewed it with the town moderator and with town clerk.
Okay.
We sought their input into it. I've actually revised it based on that input. And Doc was part of that discussion, as well as Mike, and it'll also be reviewed by town council.
About a week ago, the five of us met here.
Yeah.
But like Frank, that's what I want to know, is Frank
Frank
and Bob started?
and-
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
they both looked at it, and they gave us their input for it, so.
All right. I don't think we have any old business or new business.
I have one thing.
Okay.
Paige actually asked me to share. For anyone who wants to tune in tomorrow night, Wednesday, July 22nd at 7 p.m. on cable access, they're hosting a virtual housing open house. And you can watch it on cable access with commentary from Paige. But during the show, if you watch it on Facebook or YouTube, you can actually live question into Paige, as far as I understand it, in real time. So you can either tune in and watch it on TV, and you'll be able to watch it and see it all. But if you want to be able to interact with Paige, you can do that on Facebook or YouTube. But either way, it's regarding the housing that's being proposed and where, for our housing production plan. So lots to talk about that. If you haven't taken that survey yet, I think it was shared at least once or twice. And Jeff, I don't know if anything's gone in the paper yet, but I think that would be helpful too, just to kind of promote it, because it's creating something for the future. So
I think you can do it until tomorrow, correct? The survey?
yes, yeah.
Did it last night.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other?
Just one other thing I meant to mention too is I had an inquiry today about a development that's being proposed down off of Cocasset Street. And there was quite a bit of discussion, I guess, on Facebook this afternoon about this, but we're looking into it. It's something that was brought to my attention today. So, and apparently there's a history of some of the area that's being proposed for development. It's before the Conservation Commission, so they're reviewing it as well. So we'll take a look at that. It's apparently an area that had some hazardous material at one point. So we're going to take a look, hard look at and see what's going on with that.
Is this at the blinking yellow light where that barn was?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's that particular lot. That's one lot. I think that's a one-lot development, as I understand it. But there's another larger development being proposed above it, which is not the same developer. So we'll take a look at both and see, just to make sure. Okay.
Any other updates from the selectmen?
No.
Okay, we'll go to, let's see, action items.
Right, motion to approve a $440,000 donation. Oh, my God. That would be wonderful, wouldn't it?
Would be.
Very great.
Motion to approve a $440,000 donation.
440.
What did I say 1,000 again?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, my God. I must be looking for some money tonight, I guess. Motion to approve a $440 donation from the Foxborough seniors to senior Tai Chi for January, February, and March, and trash stickers for seniors in need during the shutdown.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Aye, good.
I tried, seniors, trying to get you some money, but motion to extend business hours to include food service until 2 a.m. on August 15th, 2020 for CBS Sporting Club. Alcohol service to remain as stated on existing license.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Motion to approve the Board of Selectmen minutes from May 26, 2020.
Second.
Any further discussion?
I just had two really quick things. There's one typo in section 9.03. And then I think this one comes up every time, but there's an asterisk for people that are, and it's just, there's no indicator for the asterisk, so that just needs to be added.
You said 9 point.
03, you'll see it, well, yeah, when you look at it.
Oh, is it the way there?
Yeah, so yeah, there's like a couple extra words in there that just doesn't make sense, and then just the asterisk legend.
Okay.
And just that I'm obviously going to abstain because I wasn't on the board.
You actually
Yeah.
don't have to. You're just approving the minutes as they're presented. You're not saying that you
Oh.
said anything or anything like that, so.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah. All those in favor?
All right.
Good.
And then we have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor? All right, good night, everybody. Stay safe.